Does your Dodge Caravan sound like this when you lock it? If it does and you get a buzz whenever you lock the door, it's likely that your door's sliding door motor, which is right here, is bad. Just listen to that. Stay tuned, I'm going to show you how to fix it. This is what the sliding door lock motor looks like, and before I go ahead with replacement, I just want to caution you about the parts. So my Dodge Caravan, the door stopped locking itself. The motor died about a year ago. Went on eBay, found one for about $18 from China, installed it, and about 9 months later that one died. It started making that weird loud buzz noise. So I contacted the eBay seller and said, no problem, we're going to send you a new one. About 3 weeks later, that motor had the same problem. Bought this motor last week. I installed it on Sunday, and on Monday, the very next day, it had died. So what I did today was I went to my local junkyard and I found this. This is from a 2007 Dodge Caravan. Works perfectly. So I'm just going to clean this up. This is going to be the part that I'm going to use. The original Dodge motors, even on eBay, they're $90 US. I paid $10 Canadian for this. My suggestion is if you're using aftermarket, be very careful. I have a very high failure rate using aftermarket motors. Go original if you can afford it, or find one at your local scrapyard. Next, the tools required for this job. Next to none. You need a Phillips screwdriver, and you are going to need a Torx screwdriver. And what you actually need is a T12. If you have a T11 or a T10, those will probably work just fine as well. They'll feel a little big, but you need to unscrew the motor from the door. It takes very little force to do it, so any of those Torx screws would work. Step one, you don't have to do it, but I highly recommend that you remove the seat on the side where the door motor is not working. You're just going to need a little more elbow room. So I already removed the bottom half of my door, and I can just tell you how to do it. It's so simple. First, in the top of the door, there's one screw. Once that one screw is out, the whole lower piece of the door, starting here all the way around, it's just held in by plastic clips that go in these holes. And the way to get them out is just by using force. You move this, the bottom piece goes under here, so you just kind of want to pull on this, which is also held in with plastic bits. And then just go around the exterior, and you're going to want to pull pretty hard, almost like it's going to feel like you're breaking something, but you just pull and it goes pop, 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 and the whole thing pops out. Make sure that you push the lock as low as it'll go, because the plastic's going to have to go over top of this lock. It's going to leave you with an exposed metal door. There's also a piece of styrofoam that fits in here. Just grab it, take it out, and then your motor is exposed. That's the part that we're going to be replacing. Disconnect the power, and that's this one. I had this disconnected just this morning, so the plug's fairly loose, easy to come off. What you want to do is just push on this pretty hard. If it's easier, use a screwdriver. If you've never removed this before, it might be stuck on there pretty good. So, but that's all you're going to do. You're going to disconnect that. Remove this screw as step 2. So here's your Torx bit, T12. That's just going to go in there. So once that is detached, there's, you can see up here, there's these tabs back here where the motor just slides into those tabs. If I pull this out, see how it comes off. So that's it. You slide this out. Now it's still attached to this piece, but now that it's detached, we can twist it around, and now it's very easy to see this piece and what you have to push on. Now it's much easier to remove with one hand. That comes out of the way, and then this just pulls out like so. And then there'll be nothing holding that motor in. There we go. I couldn't record the disassembly there. I needed 2 hands. But that's it. There's my old piece I just pulled out. Here is the, well, not the new one, the one I got from the wrecker for $10. Looks identical. There are two separate arms for these doors because the same motor is used on the left side and the right side. So if you get a motor and the little swivel piece is on this side, your motor probably has another arm, and all you're going to do is remove the screw, pop off the arm, stick the other arm on, screw it back on, and this one's ready to go. Okay, now this is one of the tricky parts. So I've reached in, I stuck the motor in here and swiveled it back so that I could easily work with this. Stuck the bar in, made it attach, and now I'm just going to twist the motor back around into the way it's going to mount up to these holes. Now there is one little finesse step to this. Now on the other side of your arm, see that light colored part right there? That has to attach to, if you look in here, there's a little arm. You can just barely see it in the middle. There's a little, there it is. You see that right there? It's like a little pole that sticks out. Get a finger on it right there. So what you want to do is reach in with your motor, and this arm here needs to go onto that pole. So just kind of reach in with your hand there. Now I can feel it's in the hole, and now I'm just going to keep my middle finger on that little plastic arm to keep that thingy there in the right place. And then I'm going to kind of move the motor around on these little mounting brackets until I can get it to, there we go. It's now sitting right where it needs to sit. That's the lever, by the way, that actually opens and locks your door. So if you mount a new motor in, but you don't get that little lever in the right spot in that arm, it won't work. Okay, so I just felt it's in its position, and you can tell it's in its position when the top piece lines up with that bracket. In the middle, there's a little circle part that goes in there. You'll just feel it. It'll feel right. And then when you look at the hole, you'll see that it's lined up, and you can put your screw back in. Okay, there we go. Everything is lined back up and firm. I started the screw here. Just going to tighten that up. And lastly, plug it back in. There's your electrical plug. Give that a push. There you go. I'm going to grab my remote keys, see what it sounds like. There. Unlock, lock, unlock. I'll now show you reassembly. This is the piece of plastic off the door, and this is that styrofoam piece I mentioned. If you look at the back of this, what you'll notice is that there are a number of little plastic tabs. If you got lucky, you were able to pull this off without breaking any. I actually broke one down here. There's one missing here. You don't really need all of these. It's not really a big deal if some are broken or missing. But if you happen to go to a scrapyard, I'm sure they're gonna have extras kicking around. So maybe find a couple spares. Remember to put your one screw back in there. I managed to get the top attached, and I just want to open the door and show you. So you can see in here all the little clips. See, there's one, it slides right in. And down here you can see another one that slides right in. Get everything lined up. There's one right around here. And now it's attached. Yeah, perfect. And now the top, this is the piece for it, and it also has a bunch of plastic tabs in there. So all you do is line up. So you can see here there's two holes. And the same thing on this side. You can see I broke one of them. There's a little gray part, which is just a guide. But that's it. You just line this up and hit it all back into place. Right, top piece is on. All I did was went around, hit that side, found the middle, gave that a hit, went over to that side, gave it a hit, and then there's two here that you can also hit, and it lines up on a clip there. Okay, I'm all finished. Get your seat back in place. Door is all put back together. Everything looks great. And most importantly, when I press the button, it now works. So that's great. In closing, easy job. 2 tools needed, 2 screwdrivers, that's it. Be very wary of aftermarket motors. I'm really pleased to have found one at the junkyard. It's 10 years old, but it's a genuine piece. Hopefully I won't have any more door issues. Tanbrolo signing out.